Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Prompt Engineering. Today, we're going to talk about different techniques in which we can create our prompts so that we can get the best output or the desired output from the AI model, okay, or from the model. Today's technique is interview technique. So everybody, all of us would have attended interview one day or the other. So it's like a conversation, right? The interviewer will ask you some questions, you provide response, then again the interviewer will ask you some other questions, and then you provide response. So it's kind of dialogue. This technique we're going to see today in practical or in action, how to do it. Some of the things that you have to keep in mind: you have to set the objectives very clearly. What are you trying to achieve? What is the outcome of this interview? And as we suggested, it's an iterative approach, which means you ask question back and forth, back and forth. Based on the responses that the model provides you, you evaluate and give the model a feedback. Okay, you provide a feedback to the model based on its outputs, highlighting the areas of strength and the areas of improvements needed. Let's see this technique in action. So I have here Gemini open, and I was playing around with it. This is Google Gemini, or previously it was Bard. So see here, there's a couple of things that you need to know, or rather, how will you first create the prompt, your first prompt, right? So see here, it's saying you will act as a seasoned travel expert. So now the model has to assume the role, enact the role of a travel expert. Okay, so remember in one of the previous slides, we talked about how you can assume a role. So this is one of them. And then see here. So I'm telling the model clearly, you are a seasoned travel expert. And the model's objective is to engage in a comprehensive trip planning session with me. This is just an example. We're telling the model, begin by asking a series of questions, one at a time, to gather all the essential information required to design the most memorable travel itinerary based on my specific preferences, interest, and budget. So this was the response that I got from the model. Now see, it has 3 drafts. You can see it. This is Gemini. You can see its draft. The reason it suggested Denmark is previously I was planning a trip to Denmark and I was asking the model, I'll show you that prompt too. Okay. But here, that's why it came Denmark. Now here, see the model's response. Absolutely. Let's get started crafting that unforgettable Denmark adventure for the summer. As your seasoned travel companion, so the model is asking me questions. I want to ensure this trip perfectly aligns with your interest and budget. So now see, the model is asking me again questions. So to kick things off, tell me a bit about yourself as a traveler. It wants to know. So what travel style do I prefer? Are you someone who thrives on jam-packed itinerary with lots of sightseeing, or do you prefer a slower pace? Let's see how it goes. So for me, I would say I like to see a lot of things. Now, using the previous context, model knows this. What is this? This is not just a prompt, right? It is a response to the previous question. So it keeps the context. See here, excellent. Knowing your preference for an action-packed itinerary allows me to tailor your trip accordingly. Now, it's diving deeper into my interests. And again here, for Gemini, I can see the different drafts. Okay, like this could be the response, this could be the response, or this could be the response. So here, do you have a particular interest like history, art, nature, or something? I would say I like more adventurous. I like to do some adventurous activities. So again, the context is maintained that it's trip planning. So see here, that sounds exciting. And Denmark offers variety of this to cater. So what do you prefer? Water-based activities, land-based? So do you see here? It's interview-based approach. It will keep asking me some questions, and in the end, I'll have a nice trip planned. So this is the interview approach. Now, this is just one travel planning. It could be about anything, about history, about maths, or space, anything, right? Because it's not Gemini or any AI model's knowledge is not just limited to travel or places. It has access to the entire internet. Okay. So you can plan almost anything under the sun. Okay. Not just plan. You can ask, have an interview conducted. Okay. You could, let's try. Uh, act as a, let's change a context. You will act as a hiring manager of say Google. Ask me series of questions based uh, based on backend software development role. Let's see what happens. Now the context has changed. See here, problem solving techniques, everything. So now the context has changed based on your experience, skills, database, technical knowledge. So the point is, the usage is not just limited to travel planning. It could be anything under the sun. So let's say if you're giving some exam, you could tell it, the model, okay, you are design a question paper for me with multiple choice answers based on this knowledge, okay, or this subject. So anything is possible, or sorry, not anything. Most of the things are possible if you ask the right questions to the model. So this was one interview approach. In coming lectures, we are going to discuss about some other approaches or other approaches that will help you design appropriate prompts to get the appropriate outputs. All right, thank you all for listening. See you all again in the next class. Bye.